Thank you for having me, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm actually attending the Chicago Venture Summit right now, so I had to step away in some random room to do this. So this is Theo's Plant-Based. We're making real plant-based food from organic vegetables. I'm Theo. I've been working in food for over a decade. I've worked in organic agriculture, in the food nonprofit space, but I spent most of my time in the culinary space working as a chef. I trained under Chef Dan Barber at Blue Hill at Stone Barns, which is considered the best farm-to-table restaurant in the world. And that, combined with my agricultural experience, really influenced what we're working on now, which is highlighting organic vegetables and turning them into, new ways to eat them nutritiously and deliciously that are also very environmentally conscious. So you can go to the next slide. So there's a problem in plant-based food right now. What's offered on the shelf is hyper-processed. It's full of unrecognizable ingredients. It's not very good for people's health. And in terms of a long-term solution, monocrop agriculture and all of these products with very similar ingredients lists is not the solution. Health sentiment towards plant-based food is down 8% from 2021 to 2022. 63% of plant-based consumers want meat alternatives made with whole foods. And 83% of plant-based consumers avoid buying products with complicated ingredients and things they don't recognize. Next slide. So that's where we come in. We're bringing plants back into the center of plant-based food, just the way the plant-based diet started back when it was a cooler thing. We're doing that through whole vegetable nutrition, and vegetables being the vast majority of what we're selling by weight, regenerative organic supply chains, flavorful chef-driven recipes made by me, a chef, not a scientist, and upcycled zero-waste processing methods. Next slide, please. So our first product is beet jerky. I got one of our 3 SKUs right here. It's first of its kind, right at the intersection of flavor, nutrition, and sustainability. We're taking organic regeneratively grown beets at harvest. We're upcycling them, keeping the peel top and bottom on, and the leaves of the beets go straight back into the ground for organic compost at the farm. They get dried at a low temperature, which maintains all the nutrition that's in the raw product into the final product. And every package has more than one big ass beet. It meets pretty much every diet there is. It's gluten-free, top 8 allergy-free, paleo, certified organic, non-GMO, certified upcycled, and we're also donating 1% of our proceeds to local food nonprofits in Chicago, specifically urban farms, to help get access to people that need healthy food. So it comes in 3 flavors. I have the sesame ginger teriyaki right here, sea salt and cracked pepper, and savory barbecue. And lastly, our product is made with a certified compostable biodegradable bag, which no other product in the functional snacks section has. Next slide, please. So here's a little bit about where we're selling. So I'm going to talk most about retail. We are in every Whole Foods in the Midwest. We were actually chosen part of Whole Foods' new accelerator program, over 500 brands to represent the Midwest, to be the Midwestern brand. We're selling 10 units per store per week, which is 3 times the velocities of other plant-based jerkies. And when we do a demo, we'll sell at least 30 units. We're doing that with a healthy 40% margin. And we're also selling e-commerce through our own website, Amazon, so on and so forth. And also selling to offices like Facebook, Amazon, Cisco, and other big ones here in Chicago. Next slide, please. So this is our team. My business partner, Aaron Brodkey, who's a childhood friend of mine, is downstairs at this event right now. He said to say hello. Aaron has spent a long time in the business side of food. He most recently was working at Big Idea Ventures, which is the biggest, most active alternative protein venture capital firm and investment firm in the world. To your right, you'll see a list of people that help us out with different categories of the business. And below, we have 2 vested advisors, Tim Redmond, founder of Eden Foods, and Linda Baggio, who's been working in innovation for over 30 years. Next slide, please. So help us bring plants back to the center of plant-based food. That's beet jerky. Thank you so much.
Good job. So again, Theo, you're our what's the vegan equivalent of guinea pig here? Anyways, you're going first. So have you presented a specific pitch in terms of the actual product and the various questions that that these guys want to ask, or do you want to just field questions now?
I'm ready for questions.
Okay. All right. I guess the floor is your guys. And everyone, I trust the Sprouts team actually has seen all the pitches before, pitched and selected this group. So I'll leave it to you, whoever wants to go first. Mics, guys, the hand mics we need. Go ahead, Scott. Try again.
Hello, hello.
Yeah. Okay.
Initial question, just looking at packaging, and very interesting. And I do love the point that you're right on with the plant nutrition and the meat alternatives, that the consumer is looking for healthy attributes and back to the true plant ingredient. But you have a lot of great attributes with regenerative agriculture and being certified, but I'm not seeing that on the front of your package anywhere. Have you put any thought into telling that story a little bit more on front of pack?
Right. That's a great question. We're actively working on that for our next print. When we printed these packages, we weren't entirely sure we knew we would be working with certified organic suppliers, for example, but we didn't know if the farm that we were going to be working with to use all the bags was going to be a regenerative organic model. So we can't put something like that in the bag. And actually Whole Foods Market, who's a really important customer to us, they have very specific standards about when you can claim something like that, which is really important. So, we didn't want to overstep if there was a change within our supply chain due to, supply issues. But certainly our goal is to have regenerative organic, not only claimed on the package, but we would like to be one of the early adopters of the new organic regenerative certification itself.
Have you guys
There,
have you guys submitted for that certification yet, or is that in
No.
process?
No, we have not.
Is there what's the plan for? What is the plan for getting this?
Well, from the whole supply chain down, you need to have regenerative organic ingredients. Right now, the beets we're working with, which is like 98% weight of what we're selling, are. But there's other components that still need to be sorted out. Again, we are certified organic, but we're really getting our foot in the door right now. That's a big goal for us, but it's going to take some time.
Other than being plant-based, what other attributes do you think consumers are looking for in the product other than plant-based? I didn't see any nutritionals in your deck.
Yeah, well, I think upcycled foods is a growing thing that we're going to be sharing as much as we can. And with our next packaging print coming up, we'd like to put that on the package. Also leaning into the fact that just beets as a superfood themselves, there are so many beet products that are, in the salad section, the produce section of the grocery store, or they're in powders, but a convenient, ready to eat, savory rendition of a beet that still has the nutritional integrity is kind of new. So we see a big opportunity with really leaning into the health benefits, cardio benefits, antioxidants that beets have. We've seen a lot of our consumers use it as a hiking snack, or they're runners, bikers, etc.
Quick question. Sounds like you're in about 72 Whole Foods today, as you said.
Yeah.
What is your ultimate go-to-market strategy at this point?
Yeah, so my partner Aaron and I, we are really focused on working on this region and going out from there with Whole Foods. So tons of demoing. We live in Chicago, which is great because there are so many stores just right here, but we're doing tons of pop-ups. We're a regular vendor at Green City Market here, where we can connect consumers to the retail stores. We're doing, music festivals, all sorts of events throughout the city. And then tapping into everybody in our network to do demos all throughout the Midwest. We're also able to qualify for Whole Foods as a local supplier because our manufacturing is in the Midwest as well. So we're really trying to establish ourselves locally, understand the consumer, the nuances of merchandising and selling in this retailer, and go from there. I'm only speaking to retail there. We're also obviously on social media, selling direct to consumer, building our Amazon consumer base right now. And I'm actively pitching some online grocers as well, like Good Eggs.
So if Sprouts was interested in bringing your product into all 400 of our stores, is that something that you have the capability of doing at this time, or would you look for more of a slow ramp?
Yeah, I mean, to be transparent with you, I have been advised by so many entrepreneurs in the food space to, not grow too fast, crash and burn. What I would be more interested in doing is starting in one region. Just like we are with Whole Foods. We've had several opportunities to do something large, and not only to maintain the integrity, the quality of the product and where we get our sourcing. I would much rather want to start on a smaller scale regionally, learn your consumer, learn how to really be successful and build a relationship with you guys, on how we can both win and go from there.
And quick question, and I'll hand it off to you, Scott. So on the social media side, sounds like you have a little bit of presence there. What are
Yeah.
your customers telling you so far?
I mean, people, this product is really healthy in a lot of ways. It's really green in a lot of ways. I like to say you can't greenwash it because it's so green. But it just tastes good. It really does. So people try it, whether we're doing a demo or at a farmer's market or whatever, and they're amazed by how good it tastes. So I think people just really enjoy how it tastes. I don't think there's many products out there that have the nutritional integrity that this does with the flavor it does. And I think that's where all this, Michelin star farm to table training on the culinary side really has come in handy.
Just one question on the turns, and this is for the group as well when pitching. 10 units is a lot. So could you qualify, is that across one SKU, 10 SKUs? And was that during promotion or demos? Because those velocities are, qualify those numbers for us.
Right. Yeah. So I was actually just down in Austin 2 weeks ago, and I had a few meetings with people at Whole Foods headquarters, and they were able to share with me some of their back-end aggregate data, because they only give us so much. We can see our units movement online, but we have been demoing pretty aggressively. Between my business partner and I, and it's always something I want to do, is, get my hands dirty and be involved, connecting with consumers. The first month we were in the store, we did 20 demos. But in April, we only did a couple demos. And even during that month, we were looking at 7 units per store per week.
Is
And
that
that's
per
across,
SKU?
that's across all SKUs. And that's with a product with, we have no spend, no promotion, a new product that most people don't know about with a new brand. And we're still getting pretty solid movement.
And what's your SRP on that? And who's your primary competitor? Is it Beyond Meat Jerky, or, who do you see as your primary?
Yeah, okay. So our SRP is $7.99. We're a premiumly priced product, but if you look at the plant-based jerky set and you look at premium meat jerkies or other premium functional snacks like dried fruits, we're in the conversation. With Whole Foods, we are strategically placed in functional snacks near the dried fruit, the kale chips, that's the planogram we're in. And they've actually moved the plant-based jerkies to that section as well. We've performed well in grocery stores being in the meat jerky section, but the functional snacks is a little less niche, and you get more foot traffic there. Our biggest competitor is other functional snack products, specifically mushroom jerkies. There's a couple soy jerkies out there, but they're not as closely direct of a competitor as us because we're making like a whole food product. We have the plant-based jerkies, and then brands like Rhythm Foods that makes beet chips, kale chips. Those are our other big competitors.
Got about a half a minute if there's one last question, you guys. Anything from your end, Chris?
Well, I mean, you mentioned placement at Whole Foods and the functional snacks, and it's always been a conundrum with the plant-based jerkies. Where do you put it? Because if somebody looking for a plant-based jerky, if you're going to go to a jerky set to
Right.
find products, so we've kind of struggled with that, and I kind of tend to agree it should be in a different set of the store. But I'm also curious by the choice of beet jerky as the name, as opposed to something else, not using the jerky term, because usually that designates high protein is usually the first call you think of if you're thinking about a jerky product.
Right. Well, I think that's another further evidence of why to be in functional snacks, because, you know, the vast majority of those products don't have much protein in them. Like, the reason you're eating this is because it's a superfood, not for protein. I think you're right. If a consumer is going into the store and they're specifically looking for jerky, this is not not the product for them per se. But if you're looking for a healthy snack, which is a much wider audience, this certainly qualifies. It's interesting that you mentioned merchandising, because I've tested in some independents. This product looks beautiful with all 3 strips on a clip strip. We've done tests in natural food stores and produce. It's done exceptionally there. And cross-merged it, put it in areas near like the kombuchas at checkout, which is obviously very special placement. But I think there's some versatility of where it could land.
Okay, good. Thanks, Theo. So this is your time for feedback. So we'll just turn the mic to you. And I might also say, let's remember that there's 40 people online. There's all the folks here. So feedback where you are already headed. Anyways, just what you should or should not do, what you might have included up front. Just, you know, presentation stuff would be useful, but the floor is yours for 4 minutes.
Well, first of all, I want to say great job in terms of, you know, you have a unique background, and the fact that it's a culinary agriculture, you don't really see that very often. So bringing that all together, that's something at Sprouts that we're trying to do more of with our culinary team. That's where a lot of the trends come from. And a lot of, you know, folks in that area are really close to the customer from that standpoint. So that's interesting. The getting back to the plant forward part of plant-based is also something that we see as a very up and coming trend with our customers. Are telling us that that's what they want. So the fact that you brought that up as a key differentiator was caught my eye. The upcycled piece of what you're doing obviously is very much on trend for all the right reasons. So that was great that you talked about that. You know, I didn't hear much about the kind of your marketing. Like today, you know, packaging looked great. You know, some questions around whether or not you put this, that, and the other on there. But at the end of the day, you know, what we see is when you have a really good proposition, marketing is a key piece of making that come to life, especially when you know, are new to retail. So the brands that we actually see that get the quickest traction when they get on the shelf are brands that immediately engage their social media following and really connect with the retailer at the same time to leverage, you know, kind of our marketing. So for us, really understanding kind of the minute you hit that shelf, what is the plan to really make it come to life and drive customers into Sprouts?
Great. And we have only about a minute, but I don't know how you want to signal. Is this a further conversation or a sideways or down? But wherever you want to do it, this is the time to do it. And Scott, I don't know if you had a comment you wanted to add to.
No, I did just want to reiterate on Kim's point on the you're hitting on all the right buttons, you're pushing all the right buttons, but how are we going to tell the customer that, right? On a premium item at an $8 retail in an innovative package, you know, it's how are we going to tell that story? So,
so is there room for another conversation, or where do you guys shake out on
So I
this?
think, you know, Chris has been in this category for his
Okay.
whole life, it seems like. I'll let him kind of, I don't know, your thoughts on
Yeah.
the uniqueness enough of making it to the next round.
No, I'd say further conversation. I mean, to their point, it is the biggest challenge is going to be educating customers because you're in a very crowded group of those types of alternative snack products. And you start talking about a whole food set like that. I'm sure it's an amalgamation of ungodly amount of subsegments and niches within that. It's like, how are you going to stand out? How do you get customers to find the product once they're in the store?
All right. Well, I'm taking that as a thumbs up for further conversation. All right. Good work, Theo. Congratulations.
Thank you guys so much. It's truly a privilege just to share. So I appreciate it. And I look forward to continuing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nice to meet
Super.
you.
Nice job. How about a hand for Theo, everybody? Melissa, pop those products over there. Elliot, she needs to take that mic to that seat over there. And